it's your girl Mel, and I'm back with another YouTube video. Please excuse how raggedy I'm looking, but I just got out of class. I'm in my house clothes, and I'm not getting cute to show you guys how I make dog food. I'm not gonna do that, okay? I'm just gonna keep it real. I'm not gonna do that. So, okay, you already know the videos about how I make dog food for my dog who has extremely sensitive stomach. So we're in my kitchen, as you can see. And I'm just gonna show you guys the stuff that I'm using, but first, before I do that, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so that you never miss a video from Mel. Okay, so now that we done that and we done got all into that, let's move on into what this video is really about. Okay, so the first thing I am going to show you, which is like the base of what Teddy eats. Let me introduce y'all to Teddy first of all. Teddy, come here. Come. What you doing, bro? All right, see, he being shy. Oh, come here, my little fatty. This is Teddy. He is 2 years old. He is a Maltese Shih Tzu mix, and he is my child. And I love him so much. And he knows I'm about to make his food, his dinner. So, go on with your bad self, Teddy. All right. So, first thing I did was bring a pot of water to boil, which that's what's happening over there. Then I have a large pot to combine all my ingredients. My ingredients are as followed. I have some ground turkey. This was purchased at BJ's and it was $11, and you get almost 4 pounds of turkey. This could make almost 3 weeks of food, right? So this is just cheaper to buy at a wholesale spot like BJ's or Costco because you get more for your money, and dog food is something I'm always gonna need, so I'd rather buy it in bulk. So I have shredded carrots, which is already pre-shredded and it is frozen. This is how I keep all his food because, like I said, I buy it in bulk, so I keep everything in the freezer so that it doesn't go bad. Then I have some diced up sweet potatoes. These sweet potatoes were in the freezer as well. I just buy a huge sweet potato and cut it up and then put it in the freezer in a Ziploc bag and just take them out when I need them. And then I have some peas from Trader Joe's, which is like $1.50. He's not a fan of peas, right? Teddy's not a fan of peas, but he needs something green. So he eats it, but you know, there might be a few little peas left back in the bowl here and there. And then for calcium, I have some bone meal powder. This is human grade bone meal powder, so I could eat it if I wanted to. This just gives him a spike in calcium, phosphorus, and magnesium to keep his bones strong. So basically, now that the water is boiled, I'm gonna go ahead and drop my sweet potato in the pots. Alright, so I basically let that boil until it's soft, and halfway through I go in and I add my frozen peas and carrots, and then you guys see what I do halfway through when I add them in. Also, these are the containers that I use for Teddy for his food. Look at him, he's running because he hears the container opening. It's not food time, Papa, sorry. Yes, so these are the containers that I use. You get like a whole bunch, and they're stackable, easy to stay in the freezer. And I paid for about 14 or 15 of these, about $10. These are the same containers you see at the Chinese food restaurant, okay? Or any like Mexican or Spanish restaurant, if you live in New York City, of course. So yeah, that's how I store it in the freezer, and I'll show you guys how I package it out as well. Judging from Teddy's weight and his size, he's supposed to have only 1 cup of food a day. He does eat dry food throughout the day if he feels a little bit peckish, and he only gets 1 treat, which is a nala bone. I'm going to insert a picture of the nala bone in here somewhere so you guys can see that he just gets 1 of those a day. The reason why I actually started making Teddy's food is because the food that I was giving him before was Merrick brand wet food for small dogs, and he would love it. He loves that stuff. But I found that his stomach would hurt him, growl, he would get diarrhea, he would vomit, and it was very, very often. Like every week almost. And I'm like, this cannot be life. Every week he was sick. Then one day he actually went out to use the bathroom, and when he came back in, as you guys can see, he's white in color. He came back in and there was blood all on his rectum. I was panicked. I was crying, and me and my boyfriend had to rush him to the emergency room. Just be warned, there's some graphic picture I'm gonna post of like how it looked and why I kind of decided to do this. So here's a picture of that. Warning, warning, warning. Okay, so you guys can see, like, that's scary. Nobody ever wants to see like their dog, like, you know, to have something like that going on. So yeah, that freaked me out, and I started looking into what I could do to protect his sensitive stomach. So ever since I started making Teddy's food, I have not seen any diarrhea. He vomited once because he was eating too damn fast, and he ended up vomiting up the whole thing whole, but it wasn't because he was like sick or anything. No diarrhea, no vomiting, no bleeding of the rectum, and he was all good. The doctor had prescribed him, at that time, the doctor prescribed him some antibiotics, and they said he had a large intestinal infection from something that he ate. So I switched up everything. I only gave, like I said, he only gets 1 Nala bone, which is fine. He does eat the Merrick dry food, which is grain-free, which is pretty bland as far as ingredients go. It's for like sensitive stomachs, but he, you know, he nibbles on that when he gets hungry. Like, I can't leave this kind of food just out throughout the day. No. So that food, I just leave it out throughout the day. He could nibble on it there, here and there, but I completely took out that wet food, and now I'm making my own food. And since I've done that, he's been in perfect health. So if you have a dog that has a sensitive stomach, constant diarrhea, constant vomiting, and you just want to stop the doctor bills, because let me tell you, shit not cheap. Okay, so, you know, let's get into this, and I'm gonna show you guys how I make my dog food, basically. So now the sweet potato has been boiling. Now I'm gonna go ahead and bust open the ground turkey, and I usually don't put anything to cook it with, like any oil, but sometimes I may put coconut oil when I see that he's itchy from dry skin. So now that winter is coming, I would probably add like a teaspoon of coconut oil to the meat so that it can be good. It's good for his skin, basically. Teddy loves coconut oil, and it's never given us a problem before. So yeah, so I'm just gonna show you guys how to do that, and I'm gonna also show you how I package and store it, and what's like kind of my routine as far as giving it to him, because it is frozen, so obviously it has to be defrosted in some way. So we're gonna get into all the details. So now that the sweet potato is halfway boiled, I'm gonna go ahead and add the veggies in. So here I'm just going to go ahead and take the cooked sweet potato out of the boiling water and put them in a pan and set them off to the side. Then I'm going to add my carrots and my peas and allow them to cook. Having my ground turkey sit in the refrigerator overnight to defrost, I'm going to check it and make sure it's ready to go into the pot. So here you can see me adding a little bit of the organic coconut oil. This is very good for your pet's coat and skin. So I'm adding the ground turkey, and then I'm going to take my wooden spatula and mash it up and spread it out to make sure that it cooks evenly. Sweet potato that you put to the side, you want to go ahead and just mash it up. You want to mash this up as finely as possible, because this is going to be added to the mixture as well. Now I'm going to grab my veggies off the stove and pour them into my strainer and set them aside to add to the ground turkey once it is cooked. My ground turkey is pretty much cooked. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my mashed sweet potatoes and add it to the mixture and really mix this in and make sure there's no clumps and lumps and make sure it gets distributed throughout the whole entire pot. I'm going to go ahead and toss in my vegetables and turn the fire down low so that everything can simmer together on a low heat. So I'm just going to let this cool before I go ahead and add a few teaspoons of the bone meal powder. I don't want to add the bone meal powder while this thing is so hot because it does get clumpy when at high temperatures, and I don't want it to have like white clumps in it like the last time. So you definitely learn as you make the dog food a few times to see what your dog likes, to see what works and what mixes well and what doesn't. So this is basically the finished product of the whole mixture together. It smells really good. Teddy really loves it. It's, you know, it's been godsend for me. It does take a little time versus, you know, just going and buying dog food, but it is cheaper. I'm gonna put that in the description box on how it is cheaper compared to dog food. But yeah, I'm gonna let it cool. Then I'm going to add the bone meal powder and then package them out into the containers. And I'm gonna do that on camera so you guys could see. So I'll be back once this has cooled down a little bit. Look at him staring into my soul, wanting me to give him a taste test. Yummy? I don't have any more. No, it's not dinner time yet. But you gave it your approval of taste, so we're all good. All right, Teddy. See you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Okay, guys. So this is the container setup that I have going on. It is usually 15 containers, but Teddy has dinner for tonight. So when he finishes that, I'll refill it and place it in the freezer. Like I said, 1 cup of food goes into each of these containers, and I spent roughly about $15 for all the ingredients that I made, and actually even less because the vegetables actually lasted me from the last batch as well. So maybe even less than $15, maybe $12. And his food that I used to purchase for him cost me about $22, and it only came with 12 in a pack, and this is 15. So like a little bit over 2 weeks. So that goes to show you guys that I do save money doing this, but warning, it is time consuming. And if you don't have the time to do this and make it a habit, then I don't suggest you start it. But if you really care about the health of your pet and you have experienced the problems that I mentioned earlier in this video, I suggest you give this recipe a try. So now that, I mean, it's still not cool, but I am about done waiting because I have schoolwork to do. I'm going to go ahead and put a few teaspoons of the bone meal powder into the food, and I'm going to show you guys how the consistency looks once I do that. This is how the bone meal powder looks, and I'm using this 1/4 cup, but I didn't fill it all the way. I probably filled it a half or even less than a half. So I'm going to go ahead and just pour it over the food. And you guys see this stuff is just super powdery. Now that I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and just mix it into the food. Too much of too much of the bone meal powder is not good for you or your pets. Anything in excess is not good for anyone. So just want to keep it a little less than what I showed. Like, not less than what I showed you, but less than 1/4 of a cup. So I could feel like it could use a little bit more, so I'm just gonna go in with a little bit more powder. I just want to do my best to make sure I mix it in completely, because last time I did it and it left kind of like white spots in the food, and my mom thought that his food was molding and threw it away. So I don't want that to happen again. Alright, so now I'm going to go in with my... I usually use a cup scoop, but I can't find that right now, so I'm going to be using a 1/2 scoop. And this is how I scoop the food into the containers. So as you guys can see, I am short 1 little cup, but I may have put too much in one of the others. But it's still good. We're still good for 12 days, and that is fine. And that's not including today. So that is how I make dog food for my dog with sensitive stomach. All right, so this is Teddy, and he is waiting for his dinner. Right, Papa? You waiting for dinner? You waiting for dinner? Yeah? Okay. So we are going to wait until his dinner time, and I'm going to show you guys how he be busting down his food. Okay? So again, thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like this video. If you want to see more pet care tips, leave it down below in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.